Hi y'all, it's Bonnie Rigsby, the Eternal Gypsy and owner of Let Your Soul Breathe. Thank you for joining me today out in nature in the beautiful Papago Park in Arizona to talk about Let Your Soul Breathe. I appreciate you taking the time to be here today. Thank you for letting me do things a little different today. Hopefully the lighting is good. We got a little bit of rain this morning, so there's a little bit of cloud cover. It's just gorgeous against the mountains. Anyway, I wanted to come out here in my favorite nature. I love nature, and I thought what a beautiful place to talk about letting your soul breathe. So first let's talk about what it means to breathe. It sounds like kind of a silly question. You know, if you think about anatomy, breathe in oxygen, breathe out carbon dioxide. It's pretty much an automatic physiological process that we don't think a whole lot about oftentimes, but maybe we should. So when we learn a little bit more about breathing and the things that can be helped by learning to deep breathe, we can actually kind of turn the key into a lock and open up a door of complete and total joy and peace that we're not used to dealing with. So I wanted to bring you a little bit today just to kind of touch base on what I mean when I say let your soul breathe. First, let's talk about the lungs, okay? Our breathing mechanism. Now, one thing that you may or may not know about the lungs obviously are super important, but they do not regenerate cells. So once they are damaged, they're damaged. There's nothing that you can do to replace them except for to get a new lung. I know a lot about the lungs. I have my own compromised lung situations that I've dealt with. In addition to that, I have a big family history of lung issues. So the importance of breath, I well know, believe you me. Life equals breath. So we want to make sure that we're, number one, breathing on a regular basis, which will help us to relax more. When we breathe deeply, we also access a part of our brain and our spirit that can do a little bit more for our peaceful state. So first we want to make sure we're breathing correctly. So let's talk about something called diaphragmatic breathing, or breathing from the diaphragm. So a lot of times, because we're stressed, we're breathing very shallow. Our chest moves, okay, when we're breathing shallow. What we really want to do, our goal, is to breathe from the diaphragm. In order to do that, I would encourage you to practice. It's going to take practice because it's going to feel really weird at first. But if you put one hand on your chest and one hand on your belly, what you'll be doing is breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth when you're inhaling and exhaling, of course. As you do so, your goal is to see your belly lift as you inhale and deflate as you exhale. Up here should be still, or virtually still. But the main movement you're going to see in the belly when you inhale, exhale, deflate. You're going to feel it down here. So practice it. When you're doing it correctly and you're actually being mindful of that activity, you're going to tap into something that's going to bring you peace quicker than if you shallow breathe. Because if you shallow breathe, you're never really filling your body with that life source that we need to find our peace. So it's really important for us to breathe properly. So let's start with that. As always, you know I'm going to check the notes. All right, so let's talk about what does let your soul breathe mean. About 23 years ago, I went through, as we all do, a very difficult time in my life. I did attempt to seek medical treatment because I was seriously depressed, y'all. It was a really tough time. And I was basically told they could not help me. So I dove inward, and I found my own way. And what happened for me, it's unique to each person, but it was impactful. It was life-altering. I really heard the term, let your soul breathe, and I knew right away I was supposed to start journaling or writing to express my thoughts and feelings. So I did that, and I mean feverishly, y'all. I was writing day and night, like for days. It was really crazy. I was like, where is all this coming from? So I'm pouring all of this out onto paper. And I noticed a few things. Number one, relief. Like all of this pent-up stress and frustration that I'd been feeling for so long that no one could help me with, I helped myself. I poured it out on paper. I got it off of my chest, so to speak, down on paper, and I went, wow, I feel some relief. This is crazy. This is weird. That was first off. I learned something about myself. I need to write. I need to journal to get it off of my soul. But then I also noticed the art that was created when I did that. I noticed I came out with this quirky poetry. It was really deep poetry about my feelings, my experiences, but then there was some quirky like goofiness to it. And so it was like this form of art that I created, all because I dove inward and pulled myself out and helped myself through a really tough time. So that is where Let Your Soul Breathe came from. Again, 23 years ago, long time ago, but that phrase has always stuck with me. And when it came to the time of naming my business for stress management, it's kind of an umbrella, Let Your Soul Breathe is the perfect way to do that, because anything that you need to do to relieve stress can fall under that umbrella of Let Your Soul Breathe. That's what we're doing when we're piecing out, when we're meditating, when we're helping ourselves to get all of the background noise off of us and clutter off of our soul, all our past pains and experiences. We are letting our souls breathe, okay? So that's my story and where it came from. And any of you, you're gonna have different experiences than me, different backgrounds, different events that have happened. The one thing that is common is the human soul can store all of that until we choose to release it. You find your way to release it. I'm a big believer in journaling and getting it out and expressing it. And even if you don't want to have it there like your personal business out there on a sheet of paper, burn it, throw it away. It doesn't matter. The whole point is get it off of your soul and your heart and onto paper. Express it in some healthy way, in a positive way, before you deflect that on someone else. So what's wrong with getting it out on paper, burning it, throwing it away, versus taking it out on another human or being unkind because of the pain that we feel? So my goal is to help you find ways to do that in sharing my story. So we're going to talk now about some helpful tips, just to kind of talk about, different possibilities. You can come up with your own. My favorite, of course, always is nature. Keep me in nature 24/7. I'm a happy chick. That is my place. My husband will tell you when I have really tough times, all I can say is take me to the mountain. That's it. That's what moves my soul. You figure out what moves yours. But come on, y'all. This is awesome. So enjoy it. God's earth has so many beautiful things. We need to explore it and see if it feeds your soul like it does mine. So take that tip. Take time for you. Now this is really hard, especially for a lot of moms out there, because we're taking care of kids, we're selfless, we care about others so deeply. How dare we spend time on ourselves? So we get caught in this trap of always, always, always doing for someone else, never for ourselves. Big mistake. It piles up over the years, and then what happens? We break down, we can't take care of our loved ones like we want to, and our health suffers. So please, 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 take a few minutes each day. There's 24 hours in a day. Take 20 minutes a day for yourself, doing something you enjoy, whether it be reading, writing, dancing, laughing, super important. Being in nature, meditating, huge for me. That's one of my biggies. I have to meditate every day. It calms the mind, it relaxes the heart and spirit, and allows you to just kind of be in the moment. Nothing to do, okay? So try that. Let's stop adding pressure to ourselves, shall we? Now, this is coming from an overachiever type, a reformed perfectionist who wants to get everything right all the time. I do get that. But sometimes because we care so much, we put so much added pressure on ourselves to get things perfect. They don't have to be perfect. We're not supposed to be perfect. So I know in my case, what would happen is I have all these lists all the time. You know, I have to plan this event, plan that event, make sure I'm thinking things through. I'm very analytical. So my husband teases me because I have a list for a list for a list, which is very true. But in my mind, it's a way of getting organized, organizing my thoughts, just to make sure I don't forget something super important. So, if you are like me and have kind of that tendency, one thing that I found myself trapped in is I would want to get so much done in a day that I would overwhelm myself with these gigantic lists and then get mad at myself when I unrealistically would not get that list done. Then I'm beating myself up going, well, why didn't you get it done? Well, your list was too big. You didn't need it to be that big. I put too much pressure on myself because I wanted to help so much, and I'm mindful of the present, and I knew no time was like the present, and I didn't want a moment to go by without doing something productive and wonderful. Those are good things, except, you know, you're not giving yourself time enough to breathe and relax and enjoy the moment and not get so caught up in I have to do so much that I never leave time for myself. So it tends to, when you have those kinds of lists, not put yourself on the list. You need to do that today, 20 minutes a day. Please, it will serve your soul, your heart, your families, your friends, the world, because once you are pieced out and able to shut off that mind and open up that heart and rest for a minute, you help other people better. So do it. Take my advice. This is something that I know well. I have done it, and I hope that you will take those words and run with it, okay? Now, again, don't get off the list. Stop blowing up situations in your head. That's something else we can do to let our souls breathe. I often find that with human emotion, we get so caught up in the mind chatter that we tend to blow a little situation into a big situation. So if you really think about the things that are happening, let's really think when something happens, is this really life or death? Or is this really a serious situation? Or am I letting my mind get away with me? You know, run away with me, y'all. Really tap into yourself. Start to really observe and pay attention to your emotions and ask yourself that question. And I believe with practice and time, if you get to doing this, you're going to realize you're kind of blowing some things up in your head that really don't need to be blown up. So take some pressure off of yourself by doing that, okay? That's another tip. Reducing the mind chatter is the big deal, and our reaction to every situation is really usually the problem. We have to really keep ourselves in check, and instead of the knee-jerk reaction of, let's think, is it really that bad? Or can I just blow it off, you know? Blow it off, chill, it's cool. It's just a thing. It's not life or death. It's not serious, okay? Try that, see if that helps. Don't sweat the small stuff. Journal every time you can. I'm telling you, it works. It pulls stuff out. It gets it out of there. No one has to know. Just do it for your soul. Do it for your family and friends, because they're going to know that you're happier when your stuff's out on paper and not projected onto them. Okay? Set an intention to relax. Intention is everything. When you really connect the mind with the heart and you set a pure intention and you're very clear, this is what I want, this is how I want it, and you focus on that, it truly can make a difference. Give it a chance. What do you have to lose? Nothing I can think of, because you're helping yourself, aka helping the world and your neighbors. So give it a whirl. Now, talk to yourself. I did say that, and no, I'm not crazy, although maybe we all have a little bit of crazy, and that's okay. Talk to yourself. When you trip up, when something happens, you don't have to do it out loud. That kind of mind chatter is healthy. Talk to yourself for a moment. I probably shouldn't have done that. It probably wasn't that big a deal, so let me chill out. Do that. Remind yourself. That kind of mind talk is healthy because you're bringing yourself to a better place. Now, don't beat yourself up. I'm not saying let that mind chatter roll. What I'm saying is, in that moment, Do a little loving correction of yourself to get you back on the right path. Don't beat yourself up. Don't expect to be perfect. Just give yourself a talking reminder, a loving reminder. All right? Always, this too shall pass. My mom always said that. My grandma said that. It's so true. Remind yourself of that, okay? Now the goal is to manage our emotions in a positive way so that we don't hurt others. Keep that in mind as you start into your next week. We're going to talk about meditation next week, which is yet another way to peace out and let your soul breathe. So stay tuned for that. Please take good care of your lungs. Please take care of your lungs. It's so important. You don't get new ones most of the time unless you get a transplant. So let's take care of this beautiful breath mechanism that we have to bring our soul's peace. And let's use it by breathing the right way and put yourself on that to-do list every single day. I don't want to hear nobody's got time. I don't care how many kids you have, how many jobs you have. There is always a moment or a few moments you can gift to yourself. So let's do that, y'all. It's for the better. Now, as always, you can visit my website, letyoursoulbreathe.com. You can send me an email message with feedback, questions, suggestions. If you want to book a healing session, a life coaching session, whatever you choose, letyoursoulbreathe@gmail.com. We are out on GoFundMe. I know people are a little bit scared to donate right now, and that's okay. I totally understand. But also understand there are missions out there that need your help, and they are worthy missions of helping other humans. So please make sure that you visit there to check it out. Make sure you check out my past blogs and stay tuned for future ones. Again, meditation on Sunday. So I am on Facebook and Instagram. I'd love for you to hit me up there. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I thank you so much for your time today. I am always sending you peace, love, and light, y'all. Always. So until next time, thank you so much for being here in Papago Park with me in this beautiful God gift. Thank you. I appreciate it. You have a wonderful day. Peace, love, and light, y'all. Love you.